generated 1.3 million ICOSA, immediately staked 360-day minimum stake length, roughly 5% of the pool. 5%, heavy hitter. I love it. What's your reaction, Sloth?
Bullish. I mean, me and Giff were talking about this on my channel a couple days ago, and I've definitely come more around to your thinking. I think it's probably, you know, I was kind of like, well, I don't know why he didn't just buy the cheap ICOSA off the market. But like looking more into it, I was like, yeah, there probably just wasn't enough. There's just not enough ICOSA in the liquidity pools to like for it to even be worth the time to do all of that. It's just better just to put it all through HSIs. But like, you know, 9 months from now, we're gonna get all of those HSIs, which me and Giff looked at exactly what they were. They're 20 T-share ones for 15 years. And just a bunch of them were just thrown out. And so we're going to get all those to burn Hedron in about 85, 86 days. So that's great. You know, our yield is going down, but Hedron is going to lose some supply. We're going to get a bump in the yield, even though our percent has been diluted because of it. So overall, it's a good thing. And it just shows that there are some large players who have confidence in the system and who want to participate because they split up the HSI, they split up the HEX so that more people can bid on it, which means more Hedron will be burned because there's more competition for each of the stakes. And then they staked all of it for a year, which they didn't even bother splitting it up to any wallets, probably because they have so many that it doesn't really matter. But still, like they didn't even bother trying to split it up at all. So they just don't really care about timing. They're just getting as much yield as they can for as long as they can. And then my guess, pure speculation, they'll probably liquidity provide with some of their yield at the end of it when they've accumulated a lot of it. You know, ICOSA is a pretty low liquidity asset, and that's because if you go on the HEX model, you'll see 93% of it's staked, right? So because 93% of it's staked, that means 93% of the coins are not available to provide liquidity for. And so as we start to get some of those out, we'll probably see a decent percentage of them provide liquidity on the sell side. And that will actually give people the ability to exit or ability to enter ICOSA off market buys, which is good for like price chart stuff.
Yeah, and just to add a couple updates, Sloth, since we talked last, I did a little bit more deep diving because there were some questions that you and I were talking about that we couldn't really answer. Like, where did the HEX come from? You were
bullying me on stream?
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I hope you're okay.
Yeah, you know, I licked my wounds, and I'm okay to have another conversation with you now, man.
That's okay.
That's an insider.
That's okay.
Okay. So check this out. So I was tracking down the wallet a little bit. I'm going to share this screen. Can you see that? Okay, you see that?
Yep.
So this wallet here. So this wallet is once removed from the wallet in question, right? So this is probably this person's original staking wallet. So 10,000 T-shares this entity has, 130 stakes currently, 115 million HEX, right? And the question was, where did he get all this HEX, right? And I think it was a pretty simple answer, but he was a day 2 in the transform lobby. So he was transforming Ethereum early on and consistently for quite some time. So this is a very large player. And another interesting thing to point out, let's see if HSI hasn't, it's almost there. So this person wasn't new to ICOSA, right? That's the point. So this person's not new to this ecosystem. They chose to make this move at this point in time, I think, for a very specific reason. Maybe I don't know exactly what that reason was, but I could speculate. I think this is this person taking a look and saying, I think the market sentiment is changing. I think in particular that the crypto market tends to run before traditional markets. And I think traditional markets are about to bottom out and that crypto market is thawing. And that if it isn't on its turnaround now, it will be soon. And maybe we want to get our positions in ICOSA now because now we've seen some time go by, right? So the way I know that this person's been around since the beginning is because all the native stakes, which is the majority, here we go, native stakes. Majority is native. 109 million hex that is staked up is all native. And then you go into the HSI side of it, and it's basically a ton of HSIs made around the 3x multiplier spot. So these are all low, like 2,000 hex a piece that all equal up to 2.5 million or 276 total T-shares, right?
Oh, wow.
And then if you go back to these native stakes and you flip over, yeah, they're all but like this little tiny one had claimed all of their 10x multipliers. So this wallet was there at the beginning of Hedron, and it was watching this whole ecosystem. And you would have to assume that it had some sort of an idea of what would happen down the road with HSIs, with the fact that they can be moved and sold, right? Why else would you split up so many HSIs at such a low valuation? All for Quattro Cinco, right? All Quattro Cinco. Thousands. What, 1,000? 1,000 stakes made? All at Quattro Cinco.
I'm surprised they did so little hex into each one.
Yeah. But see, all the native stakes are huge. Many of them, come back over to here, many of them, look at this. You look at by year, like 14, 2023 coming around, 2, 2026, there's 2, 2028, there's 3, right? Look at this, 2032, there's 3. You keep going, and then look at this, 2037, 807 expiring. This is like 99.99% Quattro Cincos. So this is a player who had made a very specific move. Like all these moves have been clearly done for a reason. And like I said, I don't know why. I can only speculate. And my speculation is that we're starting to see sentiment change a little bit. And we've seen the ICOSA whole system work properly. And we see that there's probably going to be huge potential in this ecosystem down the road. He saw, or this person saw the huge potential of HEX early on. Transform lobby every day, 1 ETH, 2 ETH, 40 ETH. Like we see these transactions that he has done early in HEX in the first month, right? So this person saw the potential in HEX and was going all in. Appears to be, right? Just speculation. And now this person's doing the same thing in that ICOSA. Just something to think about.
So we think that HEX will, around the adoption amplifier phase is getting into ICOSA. That seems to be a speculation.
Yep.
Sounds about right. They're just getting their position.
Yep. And then looked into a couple other things like these HSIs, these 300 HSIs that he sold to get a set ICOSA, right? If we just bear with me, they start at 170,000. Oh, I wish we could just type it in on this. Okay. 170,000 hex is where it starts. So if you come down here and we're about 82 days out. So let's see. 82 days. Okay. So these are all this guy. So I figured it out. Guys. I stayed up all night. Just playing. But
you probably did.
Out of all these HSIs, the 170,000, so 170,720 hex was 20 T-shares. That was a few of them that he did. And then he did a 256,079 hex in a bunch of HSIs, which equals 30 T-shares. But the one that was used the most was 426,770 hex in each one of these HSIs, which equals 50 T-shares. That were all plugged in here. That's what you're seeing on screen right here. See this? 426,770, right? Done 7 days ago. This is that guy. 82 days. And look. 50 T-shares. 50 T-shares. These are all coming up in 82 days. 50 T-shares. 50 T-shares. Pages. Pages, guys. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
It's crazy. Like this is what all in looks like. Like it's wild.
Well, it all probably came from like his HEX stakes, right? So it's all basically much of this is probably just interest for him.
So there was a lot of HEX that he had staked for just short periods of time at the beginning of HEX, right?
Like 30, 90-day rolling stakes?
Well, it seemed like they were targeting big payday a little bit.
Gotcha. Okay.
And like somebody else tell me I'm wrong. I don't know. I've been looking at a lot of numbers. I may have gotten it wrong, but from what I can tell, they kind of targeted that and they were sitting with a lot liquid to do something with, right? At this point in time. So that's where all this HEX though mainly came from the adoption amplifier.
Gotcha. Okay.
And you still have this person still has 10,000 T-shares. And this is after all these HSIs were sent away. After. Still has 115 million HEX after all this.
Nice.
So his all in and our all in looks a lot different, right? Like this is just like 5% of his portfolio he threw at ICOSA. And we're like, whoa, boom, blowing our minds. There's a lot more where that came from. And I'll tell you, I think we talked about it before, or maybe I was talking somewhere else. A lot of these wallets that we see interact with HEX and with Hedron and ICOSA, I've seen some Genesis Ethereum wallets with like $200 million worth of USDC sitting in there that used to own HEX. Like there are wallets with a ton of stablecoin on the sidelines. So this next bull market's going to be wild. Like I would highly doubt. I would highly doubt that when the market turns around, that these wallets, these ETH Genesis wallets, just sit there with the $200 million of USDC, just not moved, not doing anything with it. I highly doubt that that's going to be the case. So when we see moves in the bottom of a bear market, this is kind of my point. When we see these moves, we think, oh, this is huge. And it is. It's important. But also keep in mind there's a lot bigger moves to be made. A lot bigger moves.